Time to use some broad strokes with a broad brush. What is up, you heathens and demons, you sinners and saints, you beautiful blasphemous bastards? Welcome back to the Raging Atheist. I'm your boy Knock, and I think Christians are some pretty horrible people, and I think that they all have the ability, the innate ability to be really horrible people, and I think it's because of their religion. You know, Christians love to bitch and moan about the persecution that they received and have received throughout history. And I'm not saying that they've never received any persecution throughout history, but I think that throughout the history that we've had since their inception, that most of that persecution has actually come from them onto other people. I speak of the Crusades, I speak of all those witch burnings. I mean, you had the Spanish Inquisition, you had just atrocity after atrocity after atrocity throughout the history of the world since the inception of the Christian church. And I honestly believe that we are in the middle of a transition of the world moving on from those old archaic ways. Now, in the face of the age of the earth and how long that would take, I have no idea. Just in the face of the age of humanity, I have no idea. This transition, this moving on from an old world could take past my lifetime, past the lifetime of my child. And in that transition, we, the people that are waking up from these religions, that are denying this ludicrous bullshit, we are kind of in a very precarious position in most of our societies. Most of our societies don't really like us that much. They don't know why. I know why. It's because most of them believe in God. You know, and they can't understand how we don't. But, you know, sleeping people can't understand those that are awake, those that have been awoken to the truth. So while Christians bitch and moan about persecution, they're the ones really willing to dole out persecutions at every chance that they can get. You guys have seen it with me. You have seen it the way that I've been attacked by these Christians, the death threats that I've received, the bullshit with the pedo saint, all of that. And it's not just me. And it's not just extremist Christians or YouTube Christians trying to get views. It's all Christians. I think it's innate in all of them, this ability to become monsters when their God is threatened.
The next article I wanted to talk about is titled, "A Student Recorded a West Virginia Health Teacher Denouncing Non-Christians in Class." This is on the Friendly Atheist website, written by Hemant Mehta. But this story is pretty close to me. I am the person being written about in this story, and my daughter is the student who recorded the health teacher. Now,
I follow Hemant Mehta, the Friendly Atheist blog. I follow him on Facebook. I love his articles. I think his articles are very resourceful. And I saw this article and read this article a few days ago. And, you know, I felt, you know, me and TellTale, we're not very similar. You know, he would probably consider me an extremist, but I felt like a connection with him because, you know, I'm going to tell you, like, what he's going through, in my opinion, is worse than what I went through. We're both going through very similar things with Christians.
the teacher told the middle school students they shouldn't have sex until marriage because the Bible said so, that people who didn't believe in God worried her, and that she injected religion into the classroom whenever she could, and that God would help them make better decisions about how to handle their hormones.
So that was just a few of the things that this teacher was saying and has been saying year after year after year in this school down in the Deep South. And TellTale's daughter recorded this teacher, and they released that information. And I think I'm like, hell yeah, I'm all down for it. I think it's brave. I think it's especially brave to do it in the community that you live, because, you know, you can receive a lot more dire ramifications, as Owen TellTale is going to point out. And I commend him for it. And to me, this is, you know, it's easy to sit here in front of a camera on YouTube. You know, the hard thing to do is to stand up for what you think is right in the face of adversity, in real life, in your real community. That's activism, and I give him the highest props.
I'll give you guys the highlights. The teacher reportedly also said that she doesn't believe in same-sex relationships. If you're brought up with morals and values, then God's going to be there to help you make better decisions. Because this teacher has admitted that she's aware of, yet unwilling to follow the law which prohibits religious indoctrination in the classroom, she's admitted that she is not fit to be a public school teacher.
Now, you would think that even in the Deep South, in this day and age of modern technology and diversity everywhere, even there, that this teacher would have some common fucking sense not to say some stupid shit like that in a public classroom. Can't fucking do that. Maybe you could way back in the day, but you can't fucking do that anymore. And again, I commend TellTale and his daughter. Sounds like he raised a really strong, independent daughter. And, you know, being a father of a single daughter myself, again, feeling a little bit of connection there. I feel you, dog. Good for you, and I give you props. But, you know, like, they think that they still live back in 1943, right? And they can just say whatever the fuck they want. But you can't. Take that shit to your fucking church. It doesn't belong in a classroom.
So all of the people in this town of 3,500 people know who I am. They know me. They have known me since high school. Well, it turns out after this story broke, all of the people in this 3,500 person town created a Facebook page, which is now gone. I mean, the Facebook page doesn't exist anymore, but the page was dedicated to doxing me and doxing Kylie.
All right, so I believe he misspoke there. It's not the whole town. It's a good chunk of the town, and he will clarify it, and I'll show that just to make sure that you can get that clarification. It's not the whole town, but a good chunk of the town fucking doxed him and his daughter. And it gets worse than that. And that's what I say. It's like, it's not this online Christian YouTubers that are just fucking crazy trying to get views, willing to say just absolute insane shit. It's everyday normal Christians. It's the Christians in your community. You know, we don't interact with them often. We interact with Christians here online. I guarantee you, most of you don't go around talking to Christians in your community like you talk to Christians in a side chat. I mean, your normal, everyday, quote unquote, good Christian that you say would never do that, confront them. Confront them about their God and see what happens.
Sending, like, people would drive by our house and take pictures of the house, post it to this, talk about, like, when I would have my blinds open and when I wouldn't. They posted Kylie's phone number to a whole bunch of people, doxing a 12-year-old and leveling open and direct threats at us.
Now, I've went through similar, not like people in my hometown, although I did walk around this town looking over my shoulder because it puts you on edge. But I've gotten threats. I've gotten death threats. I had death threats that were very personal that I thought was probably from somebody in this town. Could still be from somebody that was in this town. I mean, unless you've went through that, I don't think that you can fully understand the emotional roller coaster that entails. The looking over your shoulder, being worried at every moment. Are they gonna just break in your fucking door and start blasting? You know, I know how that feels, and it's not pleasant.
Like threats against our lives, saying that they're planning to burn my house down with me inside, spreading as much information, as much personal information as possible, finding me in their high school yearbooks, posting my picture, and digging up absolutely anything that they can find about me.
Yeah, kind of sounds like something I've went through recently myself, and it sucks. And, you know, Christians go around and they talk about being persecuted and how secular society is ruining everything. But you see their true colors. You see what would happen if they had full control, full power again to do whatever the fuck they wanted like they did back in the day. We'd have public spectacles in the town square. Motherfuckers like me be burning every Friday night.
People driving by at all hours of the day and night, honking their horns, telling me they know who I am and where I live. I can't go in public. I can't go to the grocery store. I can't go to the bank. Can't go take out the fucking trash because I will be recognized and killed, or at least beaten.
And, before you guys go and say, well, that's what you sign up for when you start doing YouTube videos, check your fucking selves. Nobody signs up to have their life threatened. Nobody signs up to be harassed. Nobody signs up to look over their fucking shoulder. We come on here and we talk to a camera and we tell you how we are as human beings. That should not justify or mean that it's like bound to happen. No, not at all. Christians should be decent enough fucking people to not get so fucking crazy when the truth is exposed to them, when they hear it. And they don't even have to fucking hear it. It's like, push that stop button. Go to a different channel. Don't allow yourself to get fucking murderous.
Direct open threats of violence against me from Christian ISIS. You know how big this town is? 3,500 people. Do you know how big the Facebook group is? The Facebook page that's dedicated to doxing me? 1,600 people before it was shut down. 1,600 people. That's 45% of the town.
All right, so there was that clarification, but still, I mean, imagine that. Like, I got some random fucking letter that made me think that somebody in this town was stalking me and giving me death threats. And that was just like one random letter. Like, this dude has 45% of his fucking town wanting to kill him. And I remind you, like, he is way more moderate than me. Like, he is one of the more moderate atheists on YouTube. Goes out of his way to be fair, to be moderate. TellTale's a good dude, and he's getting this. And that's why I'm saying, TellTale there is saying Christian ISIS. That's where I am going to be different, because I think it's all Christians. I think that it's innate in them. And I think that most of them are able to skate through life pretending to be decent people, but they don't have a decent God. And it's not acceptable for you to become murderous over your God. That teacher was in the wrong. That teacher should have been fired from their job. If I were to walk into my job today and just start spitting off at the mouth about atheist shit, how everybody's God is fake, I would expect to be fired. And I would understand it when they did so. So again, I want to commend TellTale. I want to commend his daughter. I do believe that there's a fundraiser. They need to move out of that town. I don't know the particulars of that. I don't know if TellTale endorses that. So I'm not going to talk about that here. But this is something that's going on right now. And it's not okay. It's not okay for Christians to be in classrooms trying to indoctrinate other people's children. That's not okay. It's not okay that when they get called out for it, to use intimidation, harassment, and death threats. That's not okay. Owen has a right to his existence, and he has a right to his space, and he has a right to his atheism. He has a right to deny your God and not want you to push that God on his child. So I commend TellTale. And for you out there, Christians, be more human. Got to send that love to my patrons. Thank you guys for sticking around. I keep promising to do Patreon shit. This sabbatical has taken a lot longer. I think I am finally getting back to the point where I'm going to be doing some content, and I'm going to try to work on Patreon a little bit. Thank you guys for your support and for sticking around. And if you liked the video, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share me on your social media, comment in the comment section below, hit that bell so you're notified every time I put out a new video or those times I have a live stream. Share this on all your social medias. It's the only way my channel is going to grow. And as always, I'll see you soon.